Hi, Dan McFarland, your physical therapy assistant and creator of Mobility Max 10-minute home exercise system. Today I'm going to show you how to install your new Mobility Max equipment. So you received in the mail an exercise bar and 4 mounting slats and some screws, and of course you also have your training manual. Well, let's start with the mounting bar. So I assume that you picked the door that you have decided to put your Mobility Max system into. This is my bedroom door. Now, every door has a door frame. And let's take a look. I'm going to move you over a little bit so we can see the side of the door here. So this is the place where we want to mount our slats and where we're going to measure, first of all, the width of our bar. Now, you'll notice this is the outside of the door jamb. This is called the door stop right here. So we're going to mount our slats here, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But notice that the door closes, and you always have this space on the outside of the door jamb. So that's where your mounting slats will be. So back to explaining how to fit this. Is that far enough back? So here we go. That outside part of the door jamb, we want the bar to fit snugly. Now you'll notice that on each end of the bar are these larger rings. Okay? Think of these rings as tightening and loosening nuts. We loosen them in order to pull out each end of the bar to fit into the door frame. So I'm going to loosen this one now. Yours should loosen easily. And then you'll notice then you can adjust the length of this bar on the end. One end has a locking pin. The other end does not. So we want to loosen both ends so we can pull the bar in and out. And once we have them loosened and the bars from either end will slide up and down, we're now ready to fit it to our door frame. So we back into the door frame, and now you can see my bar is too narrow. It's too short for my door frame. So I'm just going to hold it and just work it a little bit on each side and try to get the ends approximately the same and just fitting into the width of the door jamb. So let me show you that. So here's the bar, and these are still loose, these nuts, so I was able to extend this end and extend that end until it fit completely into the width of the door jamb. Now I'm going to tighten each of these locking nuts. I'm going to tighten each one. There we go. Now the bar will not shorten, and that's real important. We don't want the bar to shorten, because when it's in the slots and holding you, we need it to be as wide as the width of your door frame. So every now and then it doesn't hurt to just tighten it a little bit and check your width. Honestly, I don't do this maybe every couple months, and I use my bar every single day. So it's not something you have to do a lot, but you just don't want it to shorten, and it shouldn't. Now you also notice that this end has the locking pin, and that's because this is the end that we always compress first into the door, into the mounting slot, because it's spring-loaded. Okay? This end. This end is not. This end is stationary. Okay? I'll show you how to insert the bar in just a minute. But we always put the locking pin in before we start an exercise. That way, the bar can't shorten inadvertently. I hope that makes sense. Anyways, here's the next part. I'm going to pause for just a second and reposition. Okay, I'm back. We've fit our door, or fit our bar to our door. And now, see, oops, it's the width of the door perfectly. And now, we're going to mount the slats. There's 4 of these, 2 for each side. Most door heights are 80 inches. These will occupy 78 inches. So there'll be a little bit of a gap at the top. So there's 4 of these. They're the same from top to bottom. So it doesn't matter which way you turn them. All 4 of them are identical. So it doesn't matter which one goes top or bottom, left or right. The only thing to watch for, and it's not critical, is that one side has a beveled hole for the screws. You see that? Whereas the other side does not. So we want this side to go against the wood because this is the bevel, and we want the screw to fit nice and flat when we mount it. If we mount it the other way, no big deal, but your screw is going to show a little bit. So, again, it's very hard to make a mistake mounting these, but that's the subtle little thing that you want to pay attention to, is have the beveled side out. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to mount the slats, and let's see, I'm going to lower this camera just a little bit. Here we go. So we're going to start from the floor on one side. And, whoops, that's actually not the side I want to do. I want to do this other side. You ready? Okay. So here's our first mounting slat. So you've got your mounting slats and you've got your screws. The other thing that you want, little drill, comes in handy, and a very thin little drill bit. This is 7/64. You just want something that's smaller than the screw. So there's the drill bit and the screw together. So the drill bit is a little smaller than the screw because we're going to drill a pilot hole. That's all. So after we drill the pilot hole, then you'll want a little device like this to put into your drill to put the screws in. I'm going to demonstrate that. So I am not a good guy with tools, but I've managed to do all of this that we're talking about for several people in 10 minutes. It's going to take you longer because you're going to do it one time, but it's that simple. So first thing I'm going to do is put this little screw bit in. It just took me 2 or 3 times to figure out which way to roll this thing, right? There. Okay. Now, want to make sure that your screwdriver is ready to go in and not come out. So, what I do is take the first slat, start on the bottom. You want it to touch the floor. And if you have carpet there, you know, just kind of lay it on the carpet. You don't have to press it down, but just make contact with whatever your floor surface is, and it fits in that little area of your door jamb. And then where the screw holes are pre-drilled with the bevel, take your thin little bit and make some pilot holes. Mine are already made because this is, I took these off the door, so it's going pretty easy. But